Got into some bad counts. Got some balls elevated. I think he was a little in between at times, but had an opportunity to get out. But those 2 3-run homers will cost you pretty big. But there were times the stuff looked really sharp, and he was backing off a little bit and trusting the movement. And there's other times that just got a little more of the plate than he wanted. Sometimes it's getting in bad counts too, and he's just going to continue to get a feel for when to let it loose and when he trusts his movement. And I think today was one of those days. Once again, he was in between whether to try and get early outs with the sink or to try to overpower guys, and the ball was sailing a little bit early where he was trying to find his timing, and just led into some long innings. Carp just didn't look right, so made a decision to get him out of there. But he's checking out fine with the medical team. Yachty had a foul ball off his finger, and just more of a bruise on his throwing hand, so he had to the middle finger, I think, middle finger or the next. So it's just one of those things that tightened up to where he couldn't grip the bat or the ball how he needed to, but had him looked at and everything came back negative.
What did you see?
He's kind of finishing his swing, even moving in the infield, and so it looked like he was holding back a little bit, I think a little tentative, and so we're just making sure everything's good, and he came through clear. Excuse me? Possible.
Is Seth pitching his way back into some high leverage? He's looking to do it over the last
Yeah, he's had some good outings. Yeah, it's about bottom of the zone and corners. That's how he pitches, and he's had good movement on the ball.
What are your replays showing at the play with the family?
I saw what everybody else saw, and I knew it was going to come down to how they interpret whether it was hitting the glove or not. And so that's kind of that fine line. And, they take that long a time, and you have super slow-mo, HD, and it's still hard to tell. If he'd have called it safe, they probably wouldn't have had enough to overturn it the other way. It's just one of those calls that's too close to really tell.
How big was that review, decision? And at the time it was only a 7-5 game. You're ahead away, especially if they, call them safe first.
Yeah, I mean, we bring the go-ahead run up to the plate after we've been down quite a few runs. So, showed a lot of life in that particular inning, and making something happen, putting the pressure on them, and taking the walks, getting the hits. But yeah, that gives the potential. There's always that potential with this team, especially that you got Wong coming up, and then potentially Hazelbaker right behind him that can jump the ball out of the park. Colton already did it once. That's turning the game completely over.
Do you think you're seeing a velocity?
The velocity is pretty close. Yeah, it's just kind of hard to figure out. I think he's got hurt on a breaking ball too, and that's. Usually the result of just not having a typical sharp break. But physically he says he's good, and once again the velocity is usually a pretty good initial indicator, but most likely coming down to where he's located.
Mike, when you say Carpenter checked out fine, is it just kind of general body soreness?
No, I mean that particular injury is tough to get past. The trust factor, which it seemed like, as he did his rehab, everything was fine. I think we're always a little ultra on alert. In fact, that just make sure he doesn't go backwards. And if we see something doesn't look quite right, try and make a move to try and get ahead of it.